Hey there, everybody, again. And so let's start off where we left off. If you don't know what this picture resembles, well, I don't either. But if you really don't know, you should go back to the first episode on this series. So just let's jump right in here. What I'm going to do in this tutorial is I'm going to create a warehouse. And we are probably going to create the basic outlines for the factory, I think. I will forgo all of the walls for now. I will just make these zones. So let's say we could create a feeder, as it's called in Visual Components. We could have this part where we start creating the components, and let's have it automatically start storing itself in this warehouse. Let's do that. We can also start thinking about, okay, how are we going to do when it goes out? Just start structuring it a little bit. And if we don't use up too much time, maybe we can add a human operator or something to start thinking about all of these things. Okay, good. So let's get going. So this is Visual Components. As you can see, I've already prepared posteriosis chemicals. And so let's see. To start off with, if I think about how I would like to design this, I would probably start. Let's start anyways with designing a kind of an area so that we can start wrapping our heads around all of these different things, just dimension wise. And what I am currently looking for, which I'm already not finding, search, is something called the designer, I believe. Either that or wall builder. The search bar is an absolute marvel. Nope. Well, a bar stool, maybe we want to create those. So let's search for wall instead. And I'm pretty sure it's in the facilities factory. There we go. So what this component does, fence and wall builder, is one of, I would say, this is my favorite tool in Visual Components. It's an absolute lifesaver and speeder upper. So do we want to do grid snap? Yeah, why not? This canvas width. So what this does is it creates a canvas where you can draw on it, and you can populate it with walls, etc. So it'll do that in a very seamless way. 30 meters by 30 meters. I think that should be more than good enough. So let's see. So if we start from here, I don't know, is this enough for us? I think so, right? I think this is enough for us. I think we don't want to have too big of a warehouse. No. Undo that line, undo that line. Let's start drawing from the top. So we want something that like this. You can see I'm not being too something like that. And then we press populate, bada bing, bada boom, and we got shitty generic fences, and that's not what we wanted. So let's delete all of that crap, and we do it again. Good that we started a tutorial like this, huh? So let's see, what do we want to do? We want to set smaller than before. So let's leave it at this. How much is this? What's the distance here? We're talking a 5.6 meter warehouse times 10. 5 by 10 storage unit is not that much, but yeah, let's redo this drawing. Let's go halfway. There we go. This, now we're talking. 10 by an approximate of 9. 10 by 9. That's, now we're talking. So here, now that we have the layout that we want, we were here in default, where you have all of these default values, blah, blah, blah. We want to go into walls. Yeah. We want top windows on it. Sure, why not? And then we will populate components. Boom. Man, this is ugly. Man, this is ugly. Holy shit. I think this is horrible. We're not monsters. In any case, so here at least is kind of our factory for now. We have certain doorways. Let's add one doorway here. And let's add another doorway here, something like this. Actually, we're gonna have two doorways because we're gonna be able to have trucks coming in and out and whatnot. But for now, I think, yeah, my God, these are ugly, man. Visual Components, you gotta fix your shit. Anyways, first thing you do when you're semi-happy with something, save. Okay, good. So let's see here. If we want to start simulating a warehouse. Oh, you know what? I think we want one here as well, huh? Because we're going to have product coming in and out. I'm seeing that it's a little small. It's a little small. But hey, man, I'm actually surprised by how ugly this is. In any case, let's see. Let's take a look. So now that we have our warehouse, is according to, I'm starting to look at this. This looks beautiful comparison. We now have in and out spaces. We had one thing that's going to go later on to the factory itself, and then we have incoming goods from the factory, right? So we are going to structure our buffer, and I'm thinking that I want a pallet, something like this. Forgive my beautiful drawings. You know, it'll go through the middle here, and then we'll have planks on the side. And I want to have our beautiful cylinders on top. And I am thinking either we have them like this. This is going to be a Euro pallet. So this is 1,200 millimeters. That's 800. And that's a standard European pallet. Having said that, I think we're gonna have, this will come into play later, but we're gonna have 1, 2, and 3 enormous cylinders coming in here. They're gonna come in here, and we are gonna place them kind of like that. We're gonna place them this direction. So probably we create a buffer space over here. We will have a transport alley here. And now let's see if we need to expand or something. I mean, we have building rights on the whole place, but let's start simple. Let's do it like that. Let's do it like that. Let's leave a bit of space for maneuvering, maybe a charging area here for the forklifts. So this will be reserved for charging. Yeah. This might work out. So back in here in process modeling warehouses, we can start putting in some shelves. And you know, you have here lots of different types, but for us, we will use these very sturdy mother flippers. They're sturdy boys. A bit tall, I have to say. Fortunately, so this is incoming shelf or warehouse shelf. Yes. Storage. Incoming warehouse storage. So these are pallet racks. You could have them, you know, lots of different types. Light pallets, you know, it all depends kind of. Manual picking shelves, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with pick to light, but a light comes up with where you need to go pick, and this is very popular with places where you have a lot of human picking, because then the system tells you where to go. The human operator doesn't need to think, helps out so they don't mix up or pick out the wrong product and whatnot. In any case, so we have some other relevant values here. We have the bay depth, so how deep this thing is. If I say 1,200, I don't know if you guys saw. Let's do 200 just to 2,000. I mean, just to really show you what's going on over here. But if we have a pallet that's 1,200 long, then maybe we want to have it 1,300 large, long, right? And then we want a bay width of 900. We're talking about Euro pallets, they're 800. We have, you know, 50 millimeters on each side, 5 centimeters on each side, which is, you know, it's not a lot, but let's go with this. So there you go. This is the beginning. Then we have certain floor clearance. Do we want that? No, we don't. We want to be able to put pallets on the bottom down here. And then I fixed that by putting floor clearance equals 0. Product orientation, we will get back to it depending on how we place our components. And then already here, I can tell you we're going to have issues if we don't change the C. This is the placement direction. That's the picking direction. So flow in resource, it's here. Flow out resources we presented here. And actually what we want to have, so that we do one-sided storage, we want to have these equal to each other, because then we pick and place from the same direction and whatnot. So this is very good. still a little bit tall, but I think for now we're okay. The only thing that I might say is maybe we want to have like 7 tiers. Is that too much? Will we fit a charging station here? Yeah, probably. And then so that we can have a certain amount of compliance with regulations and whatnot. You know, we want railing for sure, and we want, maybe we don't want fall protection. Now we're against the wall. Screw it. Let's have it anyway. You never know. Operator is gonna go through the wall. Wall's made out of styrofoam. It's all right. So this is the basic feeder. Now I don't know, most people probably know this. Fortunately, it should already appear here, called buffer. So let's change that name. For now, it's called incoming warehouse storage. Consistency is key. So now if I go in here and I click on this, I know it's the same. And you know, when you're starting to debug, when you're doing lots of different things, it just helps. So pro tip or noob tip, do it that way. So good. So we got our storage going. Now that we're starting to get certain, shall we call it, context to how much of a space things take, maybe we can close this for now. Otherwise, our cylinders are going to rust. We'll fix that later on, so don't worry. Or rather, actually, you know, since we're not running yet, let's just leave it open. Good. What else do we need to do? Well, we need to create certain amount of material that's going to come in. And so if I go back here and I do pallet, we're going to need 2 components. We're going to need a pallet to start with. So this should give us a result, but it's not. Have certain feeders. We have a pallet trolley. This is all very beautiful. But I want a Euro pallet. Come on, buddy. Beautiful. So that's our Euro pallet. And if we take the dimensions, 800, 1200. And then if I remember this properly, the dimension is usually 144. Yes, I do remember properly. So that's one of our components that we will need, because that's going to transport the cylinders when they're coming in. What is left now, let's see if I can get what else do we have? No. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You know, okay, we're not going to be able to make it that nice coming in. Rusty pipe, is that an option? That'd be hilarious. Oh, no rusty pipes available. Now that we have this here, what I will do is I will move it just so that we position it, you know. What am I doing here? Let's do 90. Interesting that it's, oh yeah, of course. I'm gonna do it like that. Let's see. But I can't make it larger, which is slightly annoying. It's gonna mean that we need to go into modeling if we want to adjust this thing. in the modeling tab, now that we're here, you have, this is usually the attributes of whatever you have. So here, and let's rename it to rusty cylinder. You know, I don't know, dark brown matte because it's been laying outside for a while. So let's see. Can I make it larger? I hope so. Otherwise, we will just need to make a new boolean. Yeah. Let's just do that. Let's make our fresh new component. And so the radius is going to be, I don't know, it's going to be 100. Yeah. And then it's going to be 2000 milli. Whoa, that's too much. 2 meters is too much. There we go. This looking fine. And then so that we don't totally crash Visual Components when we start running this. Okay, maybe it should be more than, no, 12 was fine. We can't do it otherwise. It just looks too bad. Good. This is the basic cylinder for now, huh? And here again, I wanted to have, let's do the brown matte because rust. And so there you go. This is our cylinder, rusty cylinder. Beautiful. So these are the two components that we will have for now. What else do we want to do? So what I can do now, I mean, you guys follow along. I'm going very fast. But as we progress, as I get questions, you know, I'll start adding certain side tutorials so that we discuss around certain things. If you have questions, etc., you let me know. I have a separate playlist for questions. So, and then, you know, videos are shorter, and that way you can take whatever you see here, whatever question you have here, and I'll make a dedicated video where we go into detail for all of that, okay? Good. So here, what we're going to do now, is we're going to go into products here, and we're going to create a flow group. And this is kind of how the journey of a certain component. We're going to have the journey of the pallet, and we're going to have the journey of the rusty cylinder. In each of these, we need to have products, obviously, right? So this is going to be our pallet. We're going to use this little component URI to define what it is we want, what geometry or what representation to give this pallet. We will do the same thing for the rusty cylinder. Again, whoops, sorry. All right. Perfect. So in the palette, we want to do one more thing. Because the palette is going to come in with 1, 2, 3 cylinders, and we're going to want to be able to manipulate this further down the line, we're going to call something called an assembly. An assembly is just basically full palette. Let me just rename it quickly. An assembly is just, well, I mean, it's a bit self-explanatory, but it's a collection of products. And here you start with the basic level. So this is when it's empty. And here you see here, so let's call this empty palette. Palette. And then below that, we will say that, okay, on this pallet assembly, on the empty pallet, we can put rusty cylinders on top. So we're going to add an assembly step, right? And this is, you see the hierarchy. So this is going to be the rusty cylinder step. Beautiful. These boxes are basically the representations of a let's say a thing that can contain a product. And so if we look at it right now, it says that it accepts all products. It's not always smart to do it that way. You could maybe say, no, I want you to only accept rusty cylinders, and then you would define it here. But for now, we're gonna say, no, you can be any product. I prefer, or I will represent you as a rusty cylinder, but in reality, you can be whatever you want. See, let's change some shading just to see if we can get some better. This was disastrous. Also doesn't help out. Let's go back to the normal. Good. And so I will put them, we can fit 1, 2, 3, I guess. Yeah, we can fit 3 of these. So let's put the first one here. It's kind of centered, that's good. And then what we will do here now is we will press on this thing, add slots. And we will say, no, I don't want you to go in the X direction. I want you to go in the Y direction, and I want you to go, let's say 30 maybe. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. 3 cylinders coming up. And then, of course, if you want, you could do it like this, etc., etc., etc. You know, there's lots of options. In any case, I'm quite happy with this. And again, I mean, you get representation of all of this over here. And it's all based off of this rusty cylinder geometry. Okay, so this is going to be when we generate, when the product comes in, what we are going to be generating is a full pallet assembly. And the full pallet assembly contains 1 pallet, so this geometry, and then the rusty cylinder. Now, I understand if you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, but Hugo, why the hell do you have these in separate places? This will become apparent later, but I can tell you that it has to do with how we handle certain flow logics, right? And so, because the rusty cylinder is then connected to the empty pallet, and the pallet is represented by this product, it's okay when we manipulate it as a unit to have it under the pallet flow group. If we want to start then taking out the rusty cylinder, something like that, this would be a dedicated action in the rusty cylinder flow group, because we are not manipulating the pallet itself, then we're just doing the rusty cylinder. Again, this will become very apparent later on. So bear with me. Okay, good. So for now, you know, this is very unassuming. If we now, let's see, if we now just create a feeder. Let's create a feeder just to test our theories out right now. Pro tip, make it larger. And we want to have it feeding from the ground or creating products from the ground. And let's do it like that, something like this. Okay, beautiful. Feeder process. So material in, right? Then we're going to go into the product creator. And if you guys remember, here in the part, you suddenly have several different options. Now here you got to be careful. we want to be creating the assembly of the product, not just the pallet. Okay, this is important. This, whenever you make a feeder, this comes up super annoying. Visual components, please change it. In any case, so we want to be creating the full pallet assembly. Again, cannot stress this enough. Be aware. And then let's do 100 seconds, something like that. Good. And let's call this, what was it? Material warehouse, material in, something like that. I don't bloody know. Good. Let's run this. Hey, there it is. Look at that. Look at that beauty we created. And so just for your benefit, just for your benefit, I want to show you what it looks like if I use the palette instead. Just creates this bloody guy. It's not what we want. We want the assembly. Also, when you create an assembly, it's attaching a lot of extra information in the background that the I wonder if we can go, hey, can we do this? Does that work out? In any case, there are a lot of different things included in this Euro palette assembly. Hey, look at that. Did you see? Did you see it? Let's go back in. Let's go back in. Do you see that how the Euro palette now? So when it's just this bloody geometry. Oh, fuck me. Sorry. Woo. Huh. All right. Well, never mind then. But this component container is kind of what also makes a bit of the magic here. But all right. Anyways, so instead of confusing you or myself, let's keep on going. Okay, so we created this Euro palette right now. Things are good. Life is good. What we want to do now is we want to take these and transport them into the buffer. So I'm quite good friends with Harry Potter. And so he's going to Wingardium Leviosa this stuff for now. I'm going to rename this product so that we're consistent. Because warehouse material in is the longest name ever created in the history of humanity. So we're going to shorten that a little bit. All right. We discussed this previously. We want to create the journey of the full pallet assembly, the pallet assembly. So what you will do is now, you can do this in a couple of ways. Either drag it down here, delete, or you click on this banner, and you click on this flag here. Boom. Jesus, that's slow. 2 seconds just to speed things up. Huh? Perfect. As you can see, they're going in the wrong direction. I don't like that. Also, for testing purposes, let's do 10 seconds, huh? So we really fill it up. Here, what you could do, you can change the product orientation. And so here what would happen is when a forklift comes in, you would make sure that it comes in with this direction, right? And so we can control all of that later on. But for now, what we can see is that this warehouse buffer is storing our cylinders. What else can you do with a cylinder, with a buffer? Well, we can do a little bit of extra logic, I believe. I'm looking for things like first in, first outs and whatnot, but oh, of course, because that logic, I right-clicked on this. You can right-click on this as well. And this buffer process flow statement is here. And so here what you could write is, okay, what do? We want to do closest to 0 position. So we want to fill what is the 0 position, or we do linear order. Let's call it that. And here you can also limit. Let's say I have 10 trucks. You could have 10 trucks inputting components at the same time. And so what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do 4 and 4 here, or 4 and 3. 3 and 4, let's do it that. So if we get a rush of components that have to come out. And again, here now suddenly we can start controlling certain things. We do not want to accept all kinds of components because this is strictly our incoming warehouse storage. And so we will only accept full pallets. We'll only accept full pallets. And what do we want to do? Do we want to do first in, first out? Probably. Let's leave it like that for now. Or actually we could do chaotic, because that way we make sure we get a little bit of new components, and maybe let's leave it like this for now. So I hope you followed me there, huh, guys? We have in the buffer, we remove the accept all products. We do not accept all products. And then we set the full pallet assembly, right? So if we run this now, again, speed this up a little bit. Boom. This is a goddamn machine gun of 60-ton cylinders or something. I don't know what this material is made out of, but you know. Could add some straps and whatnot later on just to make it a little bit kinky. I mean, visual. But for now, this is good. I mean, you guys see, this is working out quite well. It's filling up. And so, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. In the next one, we might, in the next tutorial, let's set up transports. Maybe we also want to expand this a little bit because, you know, our architect was a piece of crap engineer. And, you know, he was from Dwarfland or something. I'm not supposed to be able to say that. But in any case, so we're going to expand that next time. We're going to add some trucks. And then we're going to add this truck recharge station. Huh? So thank you for following along this time around. Hope it wasn't too quick. Again, put the stuff, put your questions in the comments, you know, send me an email, do whatever you want. Give me any kind of feedback. And I'll read them. I'll make videos if I have to. Yeah, I wish you a fantastic day for now. Thank you very much. And see you on the next one.